Hey guys, what's up? I am Papi Petah and welcome to the studio, especially if it's your first time. If you've seen a few of my videos and you keep coming back for more, you should consider subscribing and hitting the notifications tab. Alright boys, back to business. Today we're going to do the Prestige Cup. We have the 718 Boxster Spyder. This is kind of an OG car. It's a little bit of an older car. It's been in the game for quite some time, so most of you already have it. But let's get started. For those of you who just downloaded the game, and you have the car and you're thinking about doing the Prestige Cup, do it. Because look at all of these resources you can get. I highly recommend it. If you just downloaded the game, you may not be able to finish the Prestige Cup, but I highly recommend going as far as you can possibly go. Because, you know, when I first started, I couldn't really finish it until I got a few more extra parts. It's cool that you get a lot of Stage 6 parts throughout. And if you can join a crew, they can help you get a Stage 6 part as well. Now, I typically do fun facts. Typically, whenever I do the Prestige Cup, I tell you some fun facts about the car manufacturer. And so let's go ahead and get started. The guy's name that made the Porsche, his name is Fernand Porsche, basically. I don't know how to pronounce his first name correctly, but it's Fernand Porsche. And he had a number system. He called it the Porsche code. So you're probably wondering, 718, the 356, the 365, the 911, like what's the deal with all of these numbers? And the Porsche code is basically, it's an ordering system, a numbering system. So anytime they came out with a new model, they would give it a number. So if they changed the gearbox, got a different number. I don't think they started with 1. I think they started at 7, to be honest. But let's just say they changed the gearbox or developed a different gearbox. Then they went to 8. And then they changed the axle. Then they went to 9. They changed something in the transmission. Then they went to 10. And so on and so forth. And whenever they came out with the 356, that was actually the first branded Porsche. The first time they called the cars that they've been making an actual Porsche. Now, the original founder of Porsche, Fernand Porsche, that dude was brilliant, man. He made his first car in 1898. And the cool thing about it was he was 22 years old at the time, and the whole car was electric. That is a lot of innovation for that long ago. I mean, it's impressive. 22 years old, electric car, your first car, and 9,000 RP points. That's why I do it, fellas. But yeah, back to Porsche. I thought that was pretty cool. And you would think that first car would be a failure, but it wasn't. A year later, in 1899, he won his first race with that car. Now, I mentioned 356. The 356 is very iconic. It was the first branded, but he really couldn't enjoy that victory, so to speak, because he was actually doing time. He did time for his involvement with the Nazis back in the day. So he was getting all this momentum and all this fame, and he couldn't even... He couldn't even enjoy that first branded model because he was behind bars. So I was like, oh man. I didn't know what the charge was, so I don't know why he was doing time. It's just because of the Nazi involvement. But I was like, wow, pretty fascinating, man. It's pretty fascinating to be that smart, but at the same time, you know, you gotta go to jail for something. It's no good. So this kid was super smart, right? So he actually helped. Everyone knows what a Volkswagen Beetle was and is. He helped develop that. As in fact, the Volkswagen Beetle was born in his backyard. They developed it, they thought of it, they made one, all in his backyard. It's a trip. And that's a very iconic car. So this dude had a good track record. I don't know how many of you are motorcycle goers or what have you, but the Harley Davidson, it's called the Harley V-Rod. They have a model called the Harley V-Rod, and the engine was developed by Porsche in that particular motorcycle. I thought that was neat too. I wonder if Porsche, I guess they do. Oh, I'm out of gas. Let me get some gas, fellas. Ooh, 15,000. All right, I got 2 tanks. That should take us home. That should take us home. But I was wondering during my research if Harley Davidson uses their engines in their motorcycles. I wonder if Porsche has a motorcycle. I didn't find too much information about that though. I might go look for that info. In 1986, Porsche came out with the first passenger airbag. So they were the first ones to sell a car with a passenger airbag, and it was in 1986. In the 80s, there was no regulation for airbags, no regulation. I don't even think there were seatbelt laws. I think everyone wore them or tried to wear them as much as they could, but I don't think that there was laws behind it. So they came with the first version of it. They were innovative enough to come out with a passenger airbag. Because their whole thing was, yes, you have to be safe, the driver has to be safe, but he's protected with an airbag, but what if you have a passenger? They need to be protected too. So they kind of set that standard, and then after that, a lot of car makers followed. They're like, yeah, he's right. Let's go ahead and get passenger airbags as well. So I thought that was kind of cool. He kind of set the standard of not only was it a luxury sports car or just a sports car in general, but it was also, you know, he wanted it to be safe. That's really good thinking. Really good thinking on their end. Now the Dutch police, I think it was the precinct next to his home or close to his home. But he actually, it was the 365, I believe. The 365 model he made for their fleet. So the police cars were actually Porsches in his precinct, or the one closest to his, you know, his residence. And I don't know if he made them specifically for the police. I'm not sure if it was specifically for the police, because he made 10 for their fleet. They used them, and shortly after that, they stopped development on that particular. They stopped the manufacturing of that particular model. So some people say, well, he specifically made them for the police, which is why they stopped. But I don't know. Maybe so, but I didn't find any information about that. But I do know that he made them for the police for at one time. Okay, so the famous 917. Yes, 21,000 RP points. I like it. So the 917, some of you may have not known this, but the first 917, the first 25 models were called the Secretary's Porsche, or the Secretary's car. And the reason being is you got this young guy, momentum, everything is working out, and then all of a sudden there's a deadline, right? So they're extremely popular at this point. There's a deadline and they needed all hands on deck, so they got every engineer, everybody in the building, including the secretaries, to help manufacture this car. And it was only on the first 25. So in the first 25, they had to meet that deadline. And that's the reason why it got the name of the secretary's car. Because poor secretaries had to come up from the desk and start helping out and turning a couple of wrenches. I was like, wow. That's a trip, man. That's a trip. But hey, it happened. They made the deadline. Where are we at? We're at race 20? Okay. Wow, we're only 10 races away. I likey. Oh, speaking of Viper, hey boys, go and get your free Viper. There's a free Viper snakeskin right now. Okay. But yeah, that free Viper, 30,000, see? And you keep working your way up. And eventually, you know, once you guys get into a crew, they're going to ask you to make these minimums. Find one with a decent minimum that you can hit. But just so that you know, you can get 300,000 RP points just by finishing this Prestige Cup. Okay, back to the car. Now the Boxster engine, so this particular engine in specific takes about 4.5 hours to build. I think you need like 3 people on the motor, but it takes about 3 people, 4.5 hours to build the engine for this particular Boxster. Now I thought the Porsche was a little bit more rarer than this, but whenever I read up on this, Porsche, they build about 240 Porsches a day. For some reason, I thought they were more rare than that. I thought that it was like 240 a year, not a day. That's crazy. I mean, it's cool, it's good. I just thought that they were more rare than that. But I mean, it's cool. I still like them. I still like them. And this is what I was saying. I kind of gave Porsche a hard time whenever I was doing the season update, saying that every car looks alike. And they do look alike, but I think they did that for brand recognition. They wanted the cars to be similar, so similar that if you saw one on the road, you were like, automatically, that's a Porsche. And I think that's smart, because whenever it comes to branding, you know, whether you're trying to brand a car or a company or a name, as long as it kind of keeps the same look and feel, you're good to go. So I think that's the reason why they did that. 45,000, son. Love it. Now, whenever they started branding the actual Porsche car, one of their first factories was in Austria. It used to be a sawmill. Now, whenever I was reading up on this, for some reason I thought it was a paper mill. Now, if you guys don't know what a paper mill smells like, it smells bad. It smells horrible. And for some reason, I was like, oh man, how am I going to present this? But it wasn't. It's a sawmill. So their first factory was actually used to be a sawmill, not a paper mill. And so I was like, yes, good job. Good job, Porsche. Because you don't want to work in a paper mill. How are you going to get that smell out? Now, I may have said this, I think I did, in a previous Prestige Cup for Lamborghini. But Lamborghini is famous for, you know, before they were famous for cars, was farm equipment. But Porsche actually makes forklifts. And they were pretty popular for their forklifts as well. I don't think it's called Porsche forklifts, though. So they had their hand in that cookie jar as well, as far as, you know, equipment other than just cars. Look at that stage 6 part, buddy. We don't need it, I don't think. I mean, we're doing well. We're moving right along. I did not get that car. I should have, but I did not get that car. Is that it? Oh no, we got one more. Okay, wow, okay. been flapping the gums and we're just in the nick of time. We only had 1 cube of gas. It looks like we're gonna be able to do it. Good, let's do it. Yes! This is why I do it, boys. I want you to see this. Watch. Look. Watch. Here we go. Wait for it. Wait for it. Bam! 180,000 RP points, son. That's the reason why we do it. So try to do as much as you can on the Prestige Cup. So there you have it, fellas. That was the Prestige Cup. I hope you liked the fun facts. I hope you enjoyed the video. I might even do another video tomorrow with my tune and fusion parts and the best time to drop in. If you don't know what a drop in is, I have a video how to launch, so you might want to check that out. But if there's anything about this video that you like, feel free to smash that like button, and you should consider subscribing, especially if you like the content and you keep coming back for more. I appreciate all the recent subscribers. I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.